Welcome back to the podcast. I want to open up this week with a question, and that is, where do you struggle in your business? Is it overwhelm? Just feeling like you have to keep everything in order and control it and have all the plates spinning? Is it overachievement? Like, Lord, I know you gave me this to do, but I'm going to do these 10 more things and I have to keep going and I have to work incessantly. And it feels like toil sometimes. Or is it under fulfillment? Like you've had success, but you just feel like something's missing. Like you're just not satisfied and it's never enough. So your overachieving drives you to do more, but it's never quite enough. Those are the things that I encountered in myself, still struggle with some of those, just being vulnerable with you, and in the clients that I work with. And what I find in general is that there are some things that are missing for them. They're missing stability. They feel like they're constantly in this tug of war and it's not always stable and they don't feel anchored, right? They're missing focus. They feel a little bit all over the place and they can't seem to stick to it. They don't have the commitment and the consistency to stick to it. They lack discipline, right? Just the day-to-day in and out action that needs to happen. They lack consistency because they need accountability. They need somebody to hold them accountable for staying consistent. And ultimately, all of that adds up to missing clarity, missing serenity, which is really the calm and the peace and the untroubledness in running their business. And they miss fulfillment. And so what I've determined in working with hundreds of clients over the last few years is what I talked about the last four or so episodes, which are those 4 keys to hustle with heart. So the first key being, God defines us and he defines us, he defines our purpose, and we have to allow him to define us, our purpose, and what success means to him, that then he directs us. So giving him the reins to fully direct us and our businesses and the day-to-day action. And then we take those and we put those into discipline, right? The action of doing business and the day in, day out and what that looks like. And then applying that wisdom that we gain from him defining and directing us and us following through with the discipline, applying those to develop into who he's truly made us to be. And so we've just finished talking about those 4 keys, but what I want to do over the next few weeks is today kind of summarize those and talk a little bit about what those keys unlock, what they unlock in us, what they unleash in our businesses because of allowing the Lord to direct us. And then I'm going to break each of those down in subsequent episodes so that we get the full picture of why these keys are so vital. And then what do they unlock for us? All right. Sound good? Great. Okay. Buckle up. So I'm not going to give you a lot of scripture in today's episode because I'm really sort of summarizing and pulling the pieces together. So I just want to start with unpacking each of those 4 keys very briefly in summary of the last few episodes that we've done. So first and foremost, we know that as business owners, it is really easy for us to get caught up in the world's definition of who we are. It's easy to anchor our identity in achievement. It's easy for us to try to take control of everything and create everything in our business and not leave room for the Lord to direct us. But it's not so easy for us to put a daily discipline in place. We're kind of all over the place because we're feeling unstable and we're feeling like we're on shifting sands and we don't have a lot of focus and we're looking left and right at everyone else's business. So being disciplined means we have to shut all of that out. And in doing that, those things come together in developing into who he's made us to be. So one of the things that I think it's important for you to know as you listen to this podcast and maybe take advantage of some of the free tools that I have is that I am really here to do one thing. And that is to help ambitious women of faith, mainly over 40, because by the time you sort of get to 40, you've had some success or some failure, and you know what that feels like, to help them break free from that overwhelm, that overachievement, that underfulfillment, so that you can carry out the assignment that God has given you in your business with clarity, with serenity, and with fulfillment. And ultimately, what I'm helping you to do is to tune out the world's noise, to tune into God's truth, and to turn up your focus so that you truly can experience what it means to build a kingdom business and have kingdom impact. And these 4 keys that we've been talking about are so vital to all of that, because in knowing how God defines us, we can put our identity in him. And knowing how he directs us, we no longer have to fret over, like, what am I doing daily? And what does that action even look like? In creating a daily discipline, we take action. We put our faith into action. We put feet to our faith, if you will, and trusting him and taking the action. And then over time, continuing developing. And if you've heard the last few episodes, you know, I talk about this sort of, I'm drawing a circle if you're watching this on YouTube, as a closed loop. In other words, we take how he defines us and directs us, we put that into action through discipline, and then that continues to develop so that each time, this is an unending circle. Like we're always doing this, but we get better every time. And if you remember from last week, I shared the quote from Beth Moore, which I'm published in my, it's from her devotional, a devotional of hers, but I published it in chapter 8 of my book, Pursuing Success God's Way, A Practical Guide to Hustle with Heart. And this is what her quote says. Oh, wrong one, chapter 7, not chapter 8. This is what her quote says. And we know we're coming full circle, right? Full circle with God when we stand at a very similar crossroad where we made such a mess of life, or such a mess of our business, or we didn't quite follow through, and we weren't quite committed and consistent in our business, where we made such a mess of life before, but this time we take a different road. You know, that it's that old adage, when you know better, you do better. And so that's the point of these keys, is that we're constantly in this circle of life in our businesses. And these 4 keys work together to continually develop us so that we make better decisions, so that we're better tuned in to how God is defining us. And we're better able to allow him to unleash his power in our business by allowing him to direct us. And we're better able to focus and hone what that daily discipline does so that we develop even further. So you see how this is a continual process, right? So now let's talk about what this actually unlocks for us, because these keys truly do unlock some pretty powerful things for us in our businesses. And, you know, last week, I think I posted on social media the sort of this knock, knock joke, like knock, knock. And instead of God saying, who's there, he's saying, like, I know it's you. And I said, but am I knocking on the right door? And the Lord is like, I gave you the keys. I will show you the doors. That he has given us these keys. We just have to be willing to allow them to work, right? To allow them to unlock these doors. Sometimes it feels like in our business that no one is answering the door. So we wonder, did I get the right door? But really the question is, God gave us the keys. Are we using them? Are we truly using the key of him defining us and him directing us? Are we truly putting that into direction and into our daily discipline? And therefore, are we continuing to develop so that the key, we know exactly which key goes in the door and we know how smoothly it turns, right? So here's the 3 things that these keys really unlock for us. And then in subsequent episodes, I'm going to unpack each of these individually. So the first thing is clarity. So clarity in and of itself is defined as clearness or lucidity or understanding, the state of or quality of being clear. So we often are searching for clarity in our business. Am I in the right business, Lord? Am I doing the right things, Lord? Right? these keys unlock that clarity. And that clarity is so important because we want control. We want to know what we're supposed to be doing. We're seeking that clarity, right? And in that clarity, we know what action to take. We know who defines us and who directs us, and we know exactly what we're seeking to do. But see, when we're caught up in these things that I mentioned earlier, like we feel unstable, we feel unfocused and all over the place. Very often I've heard the women I work with say, I'm overwhelmed. I've lost the joy in my business. I feel stagnant. I feel stressed. I feel like I'm striving. And clarity brings all of that together through a plan, through our discipline, right? All of that works together. The other thing that we're seeking and we feel like is so untouchable or unattainable is serenity. So what exactly does serenity mean? We talk about, I want calm and peace and I want my business to just flow. Well, what does serenity really mean? So serenity is the state or quality of being serene. It's calmness, it's tranquil, it's peace. If we dig a little bit deeper into that, serenity it's again, talking about clarity and being calm and peaceful. And we want that in our business, don't we? Because we want our business to be joyful, not because it's not hard. There is hard work to be done, but we want serenity because we want calm and we want peace. And guess what? When we're operating in that, people are drawn to us because they see that in us and they think, where does this come from? And then we have an opportunity to share with them the good news of the gospel, right? Yes, that plays a part in our businesses. The third piece that we want is fulfillment. And if you've been listening to the podcast for a little while, or you've heard my story, and if you haven't, please go download chapter 1 of my book at my website. You know that I felt like I was chasing after achievement and recognition and money and all these things because I was trying to fill this hole, but the hole is a God-shaped hole. And very often we have success, but we feel unfulfilled. And so we wake up and we're like, this is not what I thought success would feel like. Or you have the achievement, but you never are taking time because you're never fulfilled by it. So you're running after the next thing. And please hear me. This is not the same as satisfaction. What I mean by that is that this fulfillment is not about like, wow, I'm really satisfied. Like, yes, we want to continue to be growing. There's a cliche or a saying like, never be satisfied. No, we need to be satisfied. We need to be satisfied with what the Lord has given us, but we also have the desire to grow and to do more for him and have greater impact. So this fulfillment is not about that. It's not about that we want, to continue growing. This fulfillment is we are physically not fulfilled with the stuff and the titles and the promotions and the dollars the way we thought it would. That's because God is our portion. Right? In Psalms, God is our portion. So we should be fulfilled by him, not by our business. But when we are working our businesses with those 4 keys, it unlocks fulfillment for us because it allows us to be fulfilled in the journey. It allows us to be fulfilled in the action. It's not about getting to a certain level or destination or dollar figure that fulfills us, right? But perhaps you've had that success and you just feel like something's missing because you're underfulfilled, right? So that's what these 4 keys unlock for us. And the reason that it's important for us to understand how these keys truly work is because when they are unlocking the pieces for us, we begin to understand that that clarity breaks the chain of overwhelm or of overachievement. Clarity breaks the chains of overachievement. When we are clear, we are no longer out there trying to make it all happen and do all the things because we are clear on our purpose, on our action, on our focus, right? Serenity breaks the chains of overwhelm because when things are in order, when our priorities are in order, God, family, business, when our business is in order and things are moving calmly and peacefully and we're untroubled in running our business, we break the chain of overwhelm. Fulfillment obviously breaks the chains of fulfillment. We no longer have that feeling of like successful, yet it's never quite enough, because we are filled by his portion, regardless of the outcomes. So I just wanted to take this episode, maybe it's a little bit shorter than some of the others, to sort of put those pieces together for you. What are those 4 keys? Define, direct, discipline, and develop. Unlock. They unlock clarity and serenity and fulfillment. And then guess what? Unlocking those breaks those chains of overwhelm and overachievement and underfulfillment. And when we break those chains, we are able to unleash all that the Lord has given us to do and made us to do and made us to be. We are able to reflect Christ's light unencumbered, no shadows, right? It's clear and present and bright. And when we're able to do that, that is when we truly can make kingdom impact beyond the dollars and the titles and the stuff. That is when our business is just running in a way that truly honors God and serves his people. So don't forget to go to erinharrigan.com/4keys and download the 4 keys PDF so that you can keep that handy. It's a great place for you to be able to take notes over the next few weeks. And I created that so that we could keep these at the forefront as we talk about what do these 4 keys unlock. So make sure you go get your hands on that. And hey, would you do me a favor? If this impacted you, would you screenshot it and share it on social media and tag me? There is someone in your life that needs to know that there is a key to these doors that they've been banging on. And those keys unlock the pieces that they feel have been missing. I know it's helping me. I hope it's helping you. And I believe that it can help someone that you know too. So please go do that. All right. I'll see you on the next episode.